Hi student. Today payment flow pivot to REST class payment method. We mentioned about factoring, right? The factoring system as a payment. This is a sort of special system, factoring, and the factoring system is similar to forfeiting system. Forfeiting system. This two system is quite similar, except the 2-point difference. 2-point difference, okay? Difference, 2-point difference. Okay. Number one difference is durations. All right, durations. And number two difference is recourse. Okay. Duration and amount. Okay. Except these two systems, this system is quite similar. Okay. Then how we will see how this is different. Okay. And forfeiting and factorings are similar. I told you the payment system, a kind of a special payment system, which is guaranteed. Payable is guaranteed. Payment guaranteed by bank, not bank. Actually, forfeiter or factor. Forfeiter. Okay. So usually these two entities are bank. Usually bank play a role as a factor or forfeiter. Okay. Usually bank. Not always. Usually bank. Okay. So let's see how it works. Okay. Again. First, there might be a contract between export and import, right? Usually they might have a sales contract. Okay, they have a contract, and then they will have a contract again here, a pact or forfeiter. Okay, import also they will have a contract with their bank. Right? In this case, the bank is a guarantee bank. Not bank, I'm sorry. Yeah, bank. Right, bank. This is bank. Guarantee bank. Right? Guarantee bank here. Okay. The role of this guarantee bank is to guarantee to pay factor or forfeiter. Okay, so this guarantee bank received draft from import. Okay, go that back to here. Okay, here receivable. We call this one as a receivable. Okay, here receivable. Receivable here. call this one receivable here. We need another more strike. Okay, bigger than strike. Okay. Yeah. There's a receivable. Okay, receivable. This one, the bank import. We call this one averaging. Averaging means the guarantee. Guarantee. Okay, guarantee bank. So averaging bank. Another word, the averaging bank. So this averaging bank will guarantee to pay forfeited. Okay, forfeited. Okay. So the forfeited on the guarantee of averaging bank hired by import, right? So the forfeited will pay to export on the basis of guarantee of averaging bank hired by import. Okay, so write this way. So back to our diagram. Okay, we have export here and we have import here. So they have a contract here. Understand this one? And after contract, import will also have a contract with the bank. This bank we call the averaging bank, right? Averaging bank. The averaging bank will the role of averaging bank is to guarantee to pay forfeited. This one is to forfeited, and this forfeited will okay pay to export once the export hand in draft or receivable. Okay, so in this case, okay, the annual I'm sorry, averaging bank ask receivable from import. Okay, the receivable is a promise to pay from import to averaging bank. Understand this one? Okay, so once he received the receivable, then averaging bank will guarantee to forfeit. Okay, so finally the exporter has a right to collect payment from import, right? But not collect directly from import. Instead, export ask payment forfeited. Okay, then forfeited ask import to hire averaging banker. Okay, then averaging banker will guarantee forfeited for the amount of exporter's money, right? The exporter's money. So the forfeited will pay in advance on behalf of import, okay, by the guarantee of averaging bank. Okay, this is a system of forfeiting and factorings. Okay, forfeiting and factorings. And then I told you two thing difference distinctively is number one is the durations. The durations usually in case of factoring up to 6 months. Usually, okay, 180 days, okay, and forfeiting extended from 2 years up to 10 years. And amount, you see the amount. We have also different scale of amount in case of factoring up to, let me see that, up to 300,000. Up to, okay, the amount, the factoring is 300,000. Okay, 300,000. But in case of forfeiting, higher price. Okay, so usually in case of factoring, this method is used for long-term duration exporting, like plant export, right? Plant export. And then, you know, and then building, construction, like this. Okay, this kind of machinery. This is higher amount, right? Higher amount than factoring. Okay, usually in case of these business, forfeiting is used. Factoring is used, small business than forfeiting. Okay, so we have specified duration and amount and distinguished the difference between two. And also important point is whether the forfeiter or factors can pursue recourse or not. Then what is recourse? The recourse is right to reclaim money they have paid, right? So in case of factorings, the factors there are two kind of options. Okay, recourse available and recourse not available. Okay, they can decide this one. Okay, but in case of forfeiture, recourse is not allowed. Recourse is prohibited. So once they pay money, they cannot reclaim money, right, from export, because in case of forfeiting, recourse is not allowed. Okay, so it depending on in this 3-point difference, okay, whether it is a forfeiting or whether it is a factoring. Okay, then let's see and check it out by following the diagram. Okay, back to the diagram. Okay, here is the examples of diagram. Okay, as I told you here, I will use the red one. Might be they might have a contract between export and import. Okay, after contract, most key issue is whether how to pay for the payment method, right? Payment method. So usually this is common sense that experts are impatient for the payment. The earlier the better for the export. Contrary, import, the deeper the better, because they can use money during not pay to export, right? So the contract agreed that using forfeiting, then import should provide the averaging bank. The averaging bank, I told you, the averaging means the guarantee. Okay, guarantee what? Guarantee to pay. To pay whom? Forfeiter. Okay, forfeiter. Okay, so by the request of an import banker, averaging banker will guarantee to pay forfeiter. Then these forfeiter are willing to pay to import because averaging bank already guarantee to pay apt once forfeiter pay to export, right? So because of they have a guarantee safety, then forfeiter has no reason to resist this one because they can make interest, okay, paying to forfeiter, right? This is a money making method. So okay, so once every bank is asked to guarantee, then every bank requests, receivable. The receivable is a promise to pay every banker. Okay, to pay every banker. Okay, receivable is an importer's promise. Importer's promise to pay every banker. Okay, by the receivable, on the basis receivable from importer, every banker also guarantee to forfeiter to pay for the amount of export claim. Okay, export claim. Okay, then once every bank is determined. Okay, Okay. The importer sent guaranteed receivable, okay, to export. Then export will bring this receivable to forfeitor. Okay, then forfeitor will pay to export. Okay, then export will then done, right? Then the procedure, the export in this procedure will be done. Okay, their duty or their role and their concern is done. Okay, so but in this case, guaranteed receivable, okay, sold to the forfeitor vehicles cannot again ask a return once every bank not paying for, right? This. Okay, so do you understand this procedure, right? Okay, in brief, forfeitor will obtain from importer, okay, deferred payment, deferred payment, right? The payment which is not paid at site. This is delayed payment, credit payment, delayed payment. So in this case, by using forfeitor or by using factoring system, export can pay in advance. Okay, not in advance. I'm sorry. Export can pay, right, prior to deferred payment date, prior to due date. Okay, due date. Prior to due date. Okay, by using forfeiting system. Okay, so usually the guaranteed receivables are due date. Uh, maybe they might be either DA or usance LC. Usance LC. Both of these methods are delayed payment. Okay, delayed payment. So by using forfeiting or factoring, the import can get paid at the same time prior to due date, delayed date promised. Okay, this is benefit of export. Okay? This is benefit of export. In this case, the export can be paid at the same time. Okay, at the same time, or he can wait until due date, meaning that the mature date, okay, when the date is reached, okay, then they can get paid without discount. But if importer won't get paid, prior to due date, they will share this bond receivable to forfeiter with a discount. What is the discount? Okay, if exporters bond are supposed to be paid in 1 year later, then if exporter want to get paid earlier than 1 year, then he should get paid. He should pay the interest, okay, for 1 year because he get paid 1 year earlier, so he should pay for interest for 1 year. Okay, so the 1 year's interest is the benefit of what? Forfeiture. Okay, in that kind of a process, we called that is a discount. Okay, so discount. Okay, this looks very simple, right? Because export want to get paid earlier than due date for the deferred payment. Okay, then export can ask import to sending, okay, receivable. This receivable is guaranteed by Abring banker. Okay, the Abring means guarantee, the guarantee bank, right? Then this is a guaranteed document. So by correcting this document from importer, export will bring this one to forfeitor and asking get paid, asking paying in advance prior to due days. Okay, then the forfeitor are willing to pay because the forfeitor can make sure of receivable from every bank. Okay, so forfeitor's payment prior to due date are guaranteed by every bank. Okay, even import do not guarantee this one. Okay, but in case of there is a failure of non-payment from import or every banker, forfeitor cannot claim to return money from export because in case of a forfeitor, in case of forfeiting, recourse is not allowed. Okay, this is a big difference from forfeiting. Factoring is either way. Sometimes in case of a contract, according to the contract, but sometimes they can ask recourse, and sometimes they cannot ask recourse. That's a recourse, non-recourse. Recourse base or non-recourse base we called usually like that. Okay, this is brief preparations. Brief comparison between forfeiting and exporting. Okay, forfeiting and exporting. Then we will go next step. Okay, and next payment method we have to study is DA, right? DA. Okay. DA and DP should be explained together because this is a sort of a correction payment method. Okay, correction payment method. Okay. Corrections. The meaning of corrections is origin payment. Origin payment. Okay. So the bank origin payment is called correcting bank. Correcting bank. Okay. So the meaning of correction is origin payment. Okay. The bank an origin payment is a correction bank. Okay, so these two terms, two payment methods, should be explained together because this is quite similar but difference at payment. Okay, the initially in previous stage we have studied these terms. Okay, document against payment. Okay, we have also this is the originally payment method as site. Okay, but as site, but not guaranteed by bank. As site payment method. Payment method, but not guaranteed by bank. Okay, not guaranteed by bank. The meaning of aside is to pay once document presented. To pay the aside means aside the site is known of C. Site is known of C. Okay, the verb, right? C. This is the known of C. So the meaning of site is once singing document. Okay, once singing document. Okay, this is meaning of site. So as site means once singing document, pay immediately. Okay, this is exact meaning of as site. Okay, as site. So in case of DP, as site, singing means the singing document. Okay, banker pay, right? Banker pay. That means okay. Banker pays. Okay, so the process of document this one. I'll show you this one again. Okay, in case of DP, I'll show you DP. Oh, sorry, DP. Okay, here is export. And here is import. Okay, export will send. Another word, dispatch, or sometimes discharge. Okay, sent product to import, right? So then he will correct, shipping document, right? Shipping document from shipping company. So this is called BL. Very important document, right? Bill of lading. And then bring this to exporters bank and asking this bank to send this document to importers bank and let import bank correct payment from import, right? Okay, this is process, and in this case we call this bank is a remitting bank. Okay, because this bank remit document to this bank, and this bank and as sending this document as remitting this bank and asking this bank to correct the payment. So this bank is a correcting bank. Okay, this is a process. Then once they send this document corrected from, okay, the document representing document is bill of lading and commercial invoice and packing country of origin. Okay, like that. Okay, the document which is needed for the custom clearance, right? Custom clearance document for custom clearance. and claim you know product cargo, right? Product. Okay, so this document is packed, filed and sent to collecting bank, and collecting bank will collect this payment. Once collecting bank received this document and collecting order, according to the collecting order is order from remitting bank regarding collecting payment. So this bank, collecting bank, should follow this order, collecting order, okay, of a remitting bank. Okay, according to collecting order, collecting bank will proceed, to collect payment from import. Then and also one another important document is a draft. Okay, the draft I told you, this draft is also urging document from export to import to pay immediately, unconditionally. Okay, so this is called draft. Okay, then draft is a request for payment from export in brief. Okay, so this all document will filed and be sent to collecting bank. Once collecting bank received the document from remitting bank, then collecting bank will call import, to accept, to pay and this document. Okay, then as collecting this document, import will pay at site document. Okay, this is called document and payment change at the same time. So we call document against payment, meaning that document and payment should be exchanged at site at the same time. Okay, the meaning of at site is at the same time the document and payment should be changed. Okay, in this case, as soon as correcting, document, especially correcting draft, and then import, pay, collecting bank, and collecting bank will resend the payment to remitting bank, and remitting bank will be received finally. Okay, and then he will return the money to export. Okay, in this case, the reason why remitting bank, after receiving payment from collecting bank, the remitting bank will send to export, because this is not letter of credit base. In case of not letter of credit base, the bank has no obligation to pay in advance to export. So the role of this remitting bank and collecting bank is just collecting payment. Okay, they have no obligation to pay. They have no obligation to pay to export in advance. Okay? After collecting fund, their role is just return to export. Okay, that is the difference between letter of credit and DP. Okay, DP used similar procedure to LC, but one difference is not paying, not paying the advance. Okay, they only collecting payment. They only asking payment to import, and once the payment is collected, they finally return to export. So the bank's role in collection system is just urging and correcting and resend that payment to export. They do not pay in advance, like LC. They do not. Okay, in LC they do pay in advance prior to collecting payment from from import, but differ from this letter of credit. In collection system, the bank do not pay any payment in advance to export. Okay, just the role of collecting and urging payment to import. That is all. Okay, that's all. No more. Okay, no obligation. That's a big difference. Okay, both in LC and document against payment use draft issued by export, but they do not pay in advance in case of DA or DP. Okay, similar. Okay, the DP, this is DP, but DP has also DP usance. DP usance, meaning that in the same process, the collecting bank do not present as soon as they collect, they receive the document from remitting bank. They keep certain period, maybe 30 days. It depending on contract, 60 days. This is just the example. 90 days after holding them, and after the date passed, they present the document to import. This is a little difference, right? In the previous case, DP document against the payment, DP is originally aside, right? As soon as the bank correct, document, the bank present this one to import. But in case of usance DP, bank do not present immediately after receiving document. They hold document, not present immediately. They hold some period. So we call this period usance. Okay, it's depending on after period passed. They present to the import. In this case, we called it a DP usance, not DP aside. Most DP without any notifications, it considered aside. But in case 36 8 days, okay, if DP for example DP at 30 days after bill of lading, like this. Okay, So DP usance is described this way. Okay, this way. If it is described this way, it is DP usance, not DP origin. Okay, it is DP usance. We should have ability to distinguish this one. Okay, DP usance and DP aside is different. And then what is then DA? Okay, this is the same procedure, but in case of DA, once correcting bank present document to import, in case of DP, as soon as they see, as soon as seeing the document, meaning that it's the same meaning as site. Okay, the import, pay immediately as site. But in case of DA, document against acceptance, import do not pay immediately. The import sign as just acceptance. Okay, I admit your right to receive money from me. That means acceptance. Okay, acceptance. Then the import will pay at the deferred day, the delayed day, at the due date. Okay, it depending on by the contract between two parties. Okay. So I will show you again. Okay. Again, I will summarize this one, and we have DP and DP usance. Maybe it can be 30 days, 6 days, and 8 days. Okay, and also we have a DA, right? But this, let me distinguish these two. This is DA also is a sort of nuisance. As nuisance maybe like this, right? But the difference between two is that this usance is, but in case of DA, this usance is maintained by import. In case of DA, the usance by import. But in case of DP, this usance is by bank. Okay, this is by bank. Okay, this is by bank. This is difference. This is difference. Okay, so once in case of DP, okay, that's correcting bank received document. Correcting bank received document. Correcting bank holding as much as usance period. Okay, as long as usance period. Okay, by whom? By bank. Okay, by bank. Okay, bank. But in case of DA, okay, once the document is presented by document presented by correcting bank. Correcting bank. Import. Do not pay. Do not pay immediately, unlike DP. Okay, unlike DP. Okay, unlike DP. Import do not pay, unlike DP. Instead, pay at deferred day. In this case, we code DA. In this case, once document presented, import just sign acceptance and return to correcting bank. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, this means we have I told you we have export here. Okay, and we have import here, right? Okay, here is the bank, remitting bank, and here is a correcting bank, Okay, our process here, export asking correcting payment and submit document, right? Okay, then this one sending document, and correcting bank will present document, right? Okay, once document submitted, import just sign as acceptance. Okay, sign acceptance on draft. Okay, then return. And return to where? To correcting bank. Okay, just sign acceptance. The meaning of distance is to admit dot import has an obligation to pay export. Okay, the meaning of acceptance is admitting one admit. Okay, admitting dot import has obligation pay. Import pays export. Okay, this is the acceptance. Okay, I have obligation to pay you, but not now. Okay, and after due date, in due date, okay, the due date will be decided between two parties, right? And then once after signing of acceptance on the draft, then return to correcting bank, and correcting bank will claim payment in due date. Okay, maybe this due date. Okay, in this process we called document against acceptance. Document against acceptance is also deferred payment. Okay, this is also deferred payment. Okay, so they have also the usance, the durations, maybe 30, 60, whatever, depending on mutual agreement between two parties, right? Okay, understand? Okay, this is the differences. Okay, so acceptance meaning that, okay, after usance date, we will pay you. Okay, but now I admit you have right to ask a payment from me. Okay, so I have obligation. Another word, I have obligation to pay you. I agree. I admit. Okay, this this precious is none other than acceptance. Okay, so acceptance. Okay, so we can summarize. In this case, the usance, the deferred, the delayed payment day is decided by import, right? Actually decided between two parties, exporter and import. But we can say this duration's deferred date is from import. But in case of DP acceptance, DP usance, the deferred date usance 30 days, 60 days, 90 days are by collecting bank. Okay, if they are what uh, decided by collecting bank. Okay, that's difference. So we have to have ability to distinguish these three, and DP usance and DA. Okay, we have to ability to distinguish these three cases. Okay, so later on I might have a chance to explain more regarding this. Okay, but at this stage I will give you up to this. Okay, up to this level. Okay, okay, then another stuff we have to study is letter of credit. Okay? So in previous class we have studied in brief concept of letter of credit, but in this chapter, separate from previous one, we will have more detailed, okay, more detailed concept and process and species of letter of credit. Okay, and this is very important payment method. Very important payment method. Payment method. Okay. Actually, most popular payment method between quite strange traders. Okay. In reality, TT is overwhelming. Is overwhelming payment because international management system are spreading worldwide, meaning that within organizations money transfer is increased. Okay, within organization, inter-organization payment, is frequently increased. That's because TT is most uh, overwhelming method in statistics, but it's the limitations of TT is we should have credit between. So this system is most of TT is permitted, okay, between same company, inter-organizations, okay, because of international management is spreading out, right? So within organization. But in reality, between strangers, letter of credit is dominant. Okay, this is a dominant payment system. It's dominant payment system. Okay, because most of stranger trader has no credit. No credit. They have no acquaintance. They have no, relations at all. So the letter of credit is most popular used payment method between stranger traders. Okay. Okay. And we will continue the letter of credit, the concept and progress, etc. and from next class. Okay, and I guess today we'd better quit, and then hope to see you next class. Okay, thank you for watching, and bye bye. Enjoy class. Thank you very much.